Hey students, welcome to episode 25 of the Film Student Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Lazzeroni. In this week's episode, my guest is Bridey Hicks from the Orange Cohort. We talk about films getting killed by technology, finding the first gig after school, and we talk about her final project film called Everything Is Fine. If you want to check out the trailer for Everything Is Fine, head over to filmstudentpod.com. All right, on with the show.
I was doing improv at Second City, Los Angeles for about 6 months to a year. And I just saw the poster and I was like, what the heck? Why am I trying to perform when I want to write, direct, produce, all that stuff?
Had you been doing improv before that, or was that your first foray into that end of the pool?
Yeah, that was my first.
Out in LA. So are you from that area originally?
No,
or
I'm from San Diego. My best friend lives up there, so I just stayed over there for, a night, a week.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
And so just saw the poster, decided to make a gigantic life change and shift out to Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, it was a process. I saw it, I think, the year that they were making it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, this looks cool. And then I put it off, I think, for 6 months to a year. Mm-hmm. And then life just kind of took over, and I didn't really think about it anymore. And then finally, some shit in my life went down. And I was like, okay, I just need to do something, you know? And my friend looked at me and she was like, if you don't go, it's just silly of you. This is exactly where you want to be.
It's got that little kind of shove out of the nest that you needed to make a big change.
Yeah, I needed to get super shoved.
What was your submission like for the piece and for the essay?
Oh God, Tony. I honestly know. Sometimes I'm like, why am I here? Because my submission.
I can tell you why you're here.
Tell me, please. I need validation.
Because you're a delight to work with.
Oh, thank you. No, my cover video. It was the night before it was due. And I did this thing with Siri, but it was just on my laptop and me talking into the phone about hey Siri, how can I get into the Harold Ramis Film School? And then Siri was super bitchy to me, but I didn't focus on the sound levels for the Siri recording.
Yeah.
So when I watched it earlier this year with my roommates, we were like, all right, let's unload. What did we do? And it was the loudest thing I've ever heard. It hurt my ears. So I'm wondering what they were doing probably in the screening room. Mm-hmm. Holy shit, this is so loud.
Oh.
And then for my piece, I just did a little piece of writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, it's so weird. I think it's kind of cursed because I filmed it once with my friends back home. And then we tried to film it twice.
So it was a sketch, or was it you reading something?
Oh, no. It was just a scene.
Okay.
It was just a scene. And then we tried to do it again, a little more high production quality. Mm-hmm. Didn't work. Never finished editing it. They broke up. And then, so I just had it sitting there. And then I was like, cool, I'll just send them this script, that I was working on. And then I did it for my term 2 here. And the project file got corrupt. So I did the whole edit, filmed it a third time, and I can't access the video anymore. So that may just never be seen.
I feel like I've heard a few stories of stuff like that people have made something only lost to the sands of time from just files getting deleted by accident or something getting corrupted or
it sucks, man. And I feel like it's such a good scene. It's just these two people fighting over a pillow, which is so mundane, and that's the shit that I love because it's this couple who are obviously in love, they're together, and just little things that add up and make someone explode are just so funny to me.
Wait, it's corrupted? Is that what happened? Or have you tried a software for it?
No, I haven't.
Because we had to buy some for Jeff's term 3.
Oh shit! That
in
happened?
the middle of the day, we had a corrupted file for everything we shot in the morning on the only card that had the footage. And so we actually had to buy 2 pieces of software before we found one that was able to get everything back.
Sure.
But we found one that got every single clip back, so we didn't lose a single clip.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a corrupted file, and so software works really well if you need to examine and see if we can rescue stuff. I might be able to help you out with that.
Yeah, that'd be great, Tony.
But it would also be hysterical because it's probably one of those cases where you've now romanticized it to the point where you're like, oh, it's really good, and then you're gonna look back and be like, why did I rescue this?
I know, man. I just need to turn in something. Like I just need it. I even turned it in and I was like, hey guys, I'm sorry, because I exported it and the volume, or not the volume, the dialogue was just like shifted a minute behind. And so like when they started talking, more dialogue from like someone else was talking, and I just submitted it. I was like, hey guys, sorry, like the file's corrupt. This is all I have. You can listen to the dialogue and close your eyes and then like mute it and see their performances.
You ever seen the movie The Limey?
No.
They do sort of the same thing where you'll be like looking at a character and you'll hear audio from a different part. Like from that same character like talking, and it goes in and out between those things.
Right, that makes sense. I know it kind of looks like an art film now, but like I didn't mean it for it to be like that, which is like
you
the
meant for it to be a
part.
comedy film.
Yeah.
And speaking of, so you just wrapped on your principal photography on your term 3.
I did,
congrats.
man. Thank you. Taps into the mic. Yeah. Oh, that was so hard and so fun.
So what was yours? What is yours about?
Mine is about 2 lady friends who kind of embark on a night of catharsis. Some unintended catharsis, I may say, when faced with like a kind of a trigger that brings back a heartbreak. So it's kind of sad. It's really funny. My actors killed it. And yeah, I'm excited to see it just fucking take its form in the editing room.
Yeah.
Because it's just a whole other process. And we were just talking before this, and it's like, I'm so happy I'm done with shooting.
Yeah.
You know? Like, or possibly done with shooting. Who knows?
Well, you got to look back and make sure you have everything you need.
Yeah.
You don't need to go back in. And you had one of the, I think, longer productions in that you were more than 2 days that you had booked for shooting, right?
I booked 3. We did it in 2.
Oh, you still did it in 2.
Yeah.
Okay. But you also had like the late night, you had the 5 a.m. crew, both nights or one?
We wrapped the first day at like 2 a.m. And then the next day at like 4:30. But we were there till like 5:30 to get all the stuff
Clean out and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was tough. It was like one of the hardest things I've ever done because I'm so used to being part of the crew, you know, and like being like, yes, I can do this. Yes, let me get that C-stand for you. And like everyone was like, no, don't touch that, Bridey. Like we would be like holding for a scene and I would put tape down for the mark for the actor and people were just like, Bridey, stop. Like,
it's not your job.
Yeah, but it's just like, so that's something that I've realized. I'm like, I really love being a part of the crew.
Yeah.
But I also love seeing art come to life with people who are really talented and like way more talented than I am. You know, no, and like that's not me.
But it took your story and it took your production to pull this together. So it's not you can't shortchange what work you did on it.
Sure, no, I worked so fucking hard and I'm so proud of myself. But I couldn't have done it without everyone who was on that set. Like fucking Daniel Ramis, Ian Mullen, Grace Coolenschmidt, Shawnee Bryan, Zan Robbins, Kelly Johnson, just like my sound guy, Marco Gonzalez. It's just...
You had Tavia, you had... who was your cinematographer?
Shawnee Bryan.
And that was a friend of yours from back in California, or is she out here?
She lives in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I actually didn't know her before this, but she knew my friend, and I stalked her on Instagram and was like, hey, let me fly you out to Chicago.
Wow.
So I'm sure it was like just as exciting for her.
Yeah.
And like we shot on a Alexa Mini, and I feel like if I would have shot on anything else, it wouldn't have been worth it, you know, for her to like come all the way and like get stuff for her reel too.
Yeah.
So I'm so stoked. She guided me so softly through some parts. Some parts, it's just, it's a process. Production is a process.
Well, and you came in with some production experience. Had you worked on a lot of sets before that? Because I know like your color and that sort of thing for you are insanely good.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, some of the stuff in your reel is just absolutely gorgeous, and
Thanks.
everybody's always like, "Oh, we need something colored." Ask Bridey.
I'm the biggest hack I know, which is like, honestly, someone asked me what I use the other day, and I was like nervous to tell them because I use Lightroom. I like literally just like take a screenshot, edit it in Lightroom, export the LUT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's actually perfectly valid. Like,
Right.
I mean, you can go get Resolve if you want to. It's free.
Right. I know, it's just so
But
daunting to learn.
It is.
I will have to though.
It's its own. Well, now they've made it into a full like editing software too, so it's kind of painful to jump in and like navigate around the stuff you don't want to use in the
Right.
software to get to the things that you do. But
Sure.
but no, it's a good tool for playing around with that stuff. Dom, who I'm working with for my term 2, he's started messing around with Resolve. And just started.
Dom, he is such a great guy. He is so giving.
That's right. He was on your set too.
Yeah, Dom
Yep.
Adele, Anthony Gibson, Zachary Green. Those guys are so talented and so willing to just be like, yes, when and where. I didn't even put Zach on the call sheet. I just emailed him and he was like, yeah, I'm there.
That's
and
awesome.
Yeah, it's cool to see everything that they've been trying to tell us here at this school come to life.
Yeah.
And like, these are your people. These are the people who you will make movies with. These are the people who you will like trust with your creative baby. And these are the people who like once, if and when they do like break out or something, they will come get you.
Yeah.
You know?
Give you a call. And that was I've talked about before on here. That's my big reason for I'll work with everybody. Like I want to try and help everybody out on their stuff in whatever way I can. Like it's impossible to literally help everyone.
Yeah.
Just because you only have so many hours in the day and stuff gets scheduled at the same time. But the chance to help a couple people get theirs a little stronger by planning a little better or having a plan at all in some cases, like it makes a big difference. And you can end up with a lot better product for it.
Yeah, and just like extending a hand to people who like aren't really familiar with production and all that stuff is so needed and helpful that I think it's just like second nature to be like, yeah, okay, what do you need? Here are my tools that I can lend you. I know someone else who has these tools that they can lend you. What do you need that you aren't getting? And I think that's like the coolest thing about this school, because I know they say like there's so many like cool, famous people on our advisory board, but the connections are in our classrooms and like out of like in all of the cohorts. Like that's who's going to be our go-to.
That's our network of people when everything's all said and done.
Yeah.
And so going back, you had said like you came in from improv side of things, but obviously with like photography, that sort of thing, you had some creative outlet. How did you get started in that stuff? Was that like, were you a creative kid and or is this something that you picked up later on?
Yeah. I think I grew up with a very creative family.
Yeah.
My dad did some animation. He produced music. He like very technical guy. Yeah. And my mother was an artist. So I think it's just like a little bit in my blood. But yeah, I've been messing around with cameras for a long time. I didn't really know what I was doing, per se at the time, but I was editing and like directing little videos. And I remember I had like a huge crush on this guy, and he would make skate videos. And so I I made my own spoof skate video that was just awful. But yeah, it got me into, I think, like iMovie.
Yeah.
which was so fun. I would borrow my friend's computer and be like, move over. It's my turn. But yeah, I think it's always been a little in me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would have to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in the program here, what's been the most useful for you?
Good question.
That's why I asked it.
I know. Useful. I mean, I think Angie Gaffney. Have you had her yet?
I haven't, but we have her. She's coming into our class next week to talk about production, and then we get her term 3. We also we had her for an event in my first term.
Sure.
But that was 1-2 hour event or whatever it was.
Yeah. Mwah, mwah. She is so great. She's so young, and she is a extremely working professional.
Yeah.
Who built this whole thing for independent film in Chicago. And she produced the Sunday Candy video for Donnie Trumpet, Chance the Rapper.
Oh, yeah.
And when I saw that, she was like, I'm just going to show you guys some videos. And you don't have to like them, but this is just stuff that I've done. And I threw my book towards her. I was like, what the heck? How are you teaching us?
You got so excited you assaulted her. Okay.
I know. I almost did. No, that was a joke. Yeah, Angie is great. She just has so much knowledge and knows the struggle. You know, I feel like as a woman in film, and this is also going to our speakers that we've had, I feel like all the women we've had, everyone has been like, yes, I get it. This is such good information to know, going into this community, because they have that struggle that they went through that struggle that we will all have to deeply, deeply go through.
Yeah.
You know? And don't get me wrong, the male speakers we've had are great, and I've fangirled over them. But I feel like the women the woman speakers have been a lot more yeah, I didn't just get lucky. You know?
Yeah, here's all the stuff I had to do and get better at and learn and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lisa K. Nelson and Sabrina Dewan, those were both really good.
Oh, God.
Those are just in the past month and a half, I think, for both of those. So there's definitely been some great people. And it's not even just, I imagine from the female filmmaking side, that's big. They've just been good generally, just to talk about just kind of here's the hard knocks, here's the things we did get lucky on, here's the things we just worked our asses off to climb the ladder, and the different paths of getting there, because that's the other thing when they get here, they're not real clear on. Yeah, so here's the ladder that you climb to get to the role that you want to get to. It's nope, everybody's ladder is completely different. And as soon as somebody uses a ladder, that ladder's dead.
Right. Oh.
Whatever method they climbed the ladder to get there, that one's now dead and gone. You have to find a new one.
That is an excellent metaphor. That is so true.
The ladder just burns up as soon as they climb up to the top, and then you move on to the next ladder.
Yeah. Man, I'm just excited to make independent film here in Chicago with people.
Is that the plan? You want to continue afterwards?
Yeah.
What is it? Do you have anything irons in the fire as of yet, or is it try and hop on other people's sets and start working there?
Hop on for sure. No leads. Or just make my own shit or make my friends shit, you know? Yeah, I think it's just so fun, and I don't want to lose this excitement and nervousness to a PA job in Los Angeles for 5 months. You know, I want to swim in this for as long as I can.
Yeah. And just try and build more out of it.
Yeah. Because you never know. I mean, Joe Swanberg, Chicago all the way, he would just create. And now look where he is.
Yeah.
Not that,
Making big indies.
Right, yeah.
I don't think he's done a studio film yet, but not many people get to anymore.
Right.
Unless you're making the next Marvel movie or Harry Potter or something like that.
Yeah, I wonder if people want to, though. I mean, indie film really gives you a lot to do, you know.
You get a lot more leeway as far as what
Yeah.
you can do story wise and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. You're not beholden to trying to kind of play to the lowest common denominator or any crap like that.
Sure,
You actually
yeah.
get to make the thing you want to make.
But
Have you?
also money.
Yeah, that too.
Hello, anyone? Give us money. No, just kidding.
Yeah, you could. No. Why kidding? Not kidding.
Oh
Not
yeah, please give us all of your money.
Search for Harold Ramis Film School on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, and
Yeah.
whatever you find, donate money.
Yeah. No, that's such a great idea.
Because they are making stuff, and they definitely need funds to do so.
Yeah. And we're making really good shit. Like, I'm so proud to just sit in a circle with my cohort and listen to their sketches, their scripts, their pitches. I'm just blown away by the amount of talent.
I am curious, what was the budget, if you don't mind sharing, for your term 3?
Mine was way too much. Mine was $5,000.
Okay. Way too much in as much as way too much to deal with, or way too much that you feel like you...
Oh, I definitely overspent.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I think they always tell us here that's like make a $1,000 short film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got it. And that's great, but also there's so many people in the school working on theirs that, like, you just can't get people for free. You know, like, you can get a lot of people for free, but like those key players who like yourself, you know, you're on every set that I'm on, I feel like. But
that's just because I don't say no to things.
I know. Me neither.
Which is probably going to end up being deadly. But I do have dates for my term 2, so I am going to film it. It's going to be very late. It's going to be like middle of August when I actually film it. But I'm going to edit it myself, and that will take me very little time by comparison to some people's that are just now learning editing software.
I know. It's crazy how many people... It's crazy how many people didn't know how to edit, and also how many people want to be performers. Yeah. There's so many people in my class who are like, yeah, I want to perform. I'm not really into like directing or producing or whatever. And it's like, whoa, I'm so here for that. You know, like, like, this is what... Well,
that's that whole thing that they apparently assemble the classes to be some spread of those. So the reason that there's not other like director wannabes in your class are because you are that person in your class, and then there's other people that are slotting into other roles.
Right.
Like, I kind of had the same thing. Like, one of my roommates, he's like, yeah, I just want to perform and write. And I was like, that's so weird. Like, because I want to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
He seems very disinterested in that. Like,
right.
And there are people in the program that, you know, they're not looking to direct. They're not looking to do any of the technical stuff or get in the weeds about it. I just worked on Jamie's set for her term 3, and she didn't have like the overhead set up to know like what the blocking was going to be, because she just didn't know where to start for it.
Sure.
And so we just got there, like set everybody and blocked through it, figured out, you know, what was going to make sense for it. But it's one of those things, like, if you don't have the experience to know how to do that, or the inkling of how you might want it to look, like to translate what's in your head or what's on the script into something you can see on camera. Yeah. Like, it takes time. It's not something you just generate overnight, but it's not a technical school. It's about the storytelling.
Right. And that's something that I didn't realize coming in. But that doesn't mean that I feel like I gained more than I would have if it was a technical school.
Right.
I love this aim to just like tell a good story. Yeah. You know, get that skill down, and then you can ask anyone. You know, it's like, get the story, make relationships, ask people to help you, and collaborate. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny too, because you'll find people that are out in the community that somehow get roped into your thing, that then will get really ingrained in it. Yeah. Like, I'm kind of waiting for that second generation of like Harold Ramis students that are the people that are like on all of our sets already, that are like the Doms and, you know, Adrianas, and they're all kind of around the scene, and Zach, and like that they just jump into the program for themselves. You know, like that sort of thing I think is due at some point in time. You're going to see that echo.
Right.
Because like when I was back in DC, my friend Chris, I had him on one of my first productions, and just as a like writer, he didn't have any film experience or anything like that. He had so much fun with that. He turns around and buys a camera and just teaches himself how to do the full production process, very much the same way I did.
Yeah, man.
And you know, now his business is freelance videography and cinematography work and that sort of thing. And it's just all from like, you know, tried out one thing and just, oh, that was a lot of fun. I want to go do a bunch more of that.
Yeah, and like YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
My God, that's how I learned how to edit.
DIY is actually not an impossible thing to do as far as learning all these technical tools.
Oh yeah.
There's plenty of resources out there for free. If you want to pay, there's some amazing ones that are, you know, not too incredibly expensive they'll teach you that stuff. But and so like Lightroom you had from being a still photographer. Or did you pick that up specifically for video?
Oh yeah, still
okay,
for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because that and Aperture were the two big ones for a long
Aperture.
time. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I couldn't get into. It was confusing for me.
And that's Apple versus Adobe across the board.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm recording this in Logic, and I have some friends that like use Pro Tools, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And same with I use Final Cut, and people that use Premiere are like,
"What are you doing?" No, I'm kidding.
But it works.
It works for you.
Great.
Yeah.
I can get stuff. I mean, like I said, I can edit quickly.
Right.
You know,
sure.
and I can get something that you put it side by side, you'd be hard pressed to tell whether or not it was, you know, what software it was done in.
Of course, yeah.
In most cases, but so what's your end goal? What do you know, obviously want to stick around here and try and produce stuff here. What would you dream world like to be getting into?
Dream world, I would love to work with the Duplass brothers.
In
huge dream world.
Yeah.
Like not going to maybe happen dream world. Yeah, definitely working with them, either like having them produce something that I've written. I'm just laughing at this dream.
Why?
Oh, it's just, it feels so big. You know, everything feels so far, but
if you don't aim for it.
Yeah, of course. I will aim for the rest of my fucking life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will let you know that. But it's just like hard to say out loud, you know?
Yeah.
Definitely with them. I want to short-term goals. Definitely want to stay here, do an independent film, make some features in the next 5 years, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I don't know, maybe mine, maybe someone else's.
Yeah.
But I just want that experience. I want my first shitty feature to get out of the way, you know, and then have my second shitty feature get out of the way, and then have my third. And
so you want to stick down to the feature film side of things, the indie circuit, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if a pilot comes, it comes.
Yeah, that's kind of where I feel like I want to end up is in TV in the long term. Like I want to do at least one feature.
Yeah.
But like just the thought of that kind of vagabond TV director role is just oddly appealing to me.
Oh,
like,
I bet.
Get into something that's already established or that you get to have some say in, even though it's not like your thing.
Right.
Build that component of it and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Like and if you do well, you'll know it because they'll ask you back for 2 more.
Sure.
You know? And if you don't do well, the feedback you get is not getting asked.
And also, I feel like with TV, you're kind of hidden as a director. Like, of course, it'll be like directed by. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, if there is like a shitty episode and maybe you directed it, people, at least like maybe me, but maybe you'll do this. But I'm like, oh, I don't even know that name, so I'm not gonna like shit on that person.
Right. But you do learn the ones that you do like, and you also. It's funny to me too how many guys are from other ends of the spectrum that wind up. I mean, Bobcat Goldthwait was more of a stand-up and an actor, and now he's known as a TV director. And Jay Chandrasekhar was writer and director for all the Broken Lizard movies, and now he does a bunch of TV. And Kevin Smith for all the Jersey saga films, and now he's doing a ton of mostly like superhero stuff, so still within his realm. But there's people like that just journeymen that will do 7-8 different series,
Sure. Yeah, I feel like once you get into that realm, you kind of bounce around. People bounce your name around. Like I feel like if you're well known enough, they'll let you do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which in some hands it's bad.
Sure. Yeah, if people if they're not talented enough to make all those things as good as they can be.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What was that like Paris Hilton TV show?
The one with her and Nicole Richie, that one. I can't remember the name of it. I guarantee there's at least one person listening to this that's like screaming the name of that at their phone right now.
How would you forget about
that?
this?
Remember it was called blah.
it was definitely entertaining sometimes, but just like, how does that happen? Like we need stories. We need all different stories. And I guess that maybe falls under the all different stories, but you know what I mean.
Well, I'm not watching, but keeping tabs on Real Housewives of Potomac.
Oh my
because
gosh.
Right before I left DC, some of the housewives came and did an improv class at the improv theater that I was associated with, and Washington Improv Theater, and I was one of the people that came in because I was just free that day for it, and we did a fake class where basically everybody in the class is actually a trained improviser that's been through the full program at Washington Improv Theater, but we all pretended to be students and like a couple teachers, and then the three women that were there were students in it too.
Yeah.
But they staged it so we were all doing scenes with the three of them, like they just rotated in, and so I have this scene where the tall pretty one, Robin, she and I wind up mirroring each other.
Oh my god!
And I'm the 6'6" bearded guy. Like I'm like, if that doesn't end up on TV, I will be supremely disappointed.
Right, one of those like Facebook videos that appear after you've watched one of the Facebook videos.
Yeah.
It's like it just goes automatically down.
You should watch this one.
Yeah.
I don't know what the algorithm is that says, oh, you just listen to this, you'll want to like Nickelback. It's like, what?
It's like, wait, I do. How do you know this much about me?
You've been paying attention a little too closely. Well, so if somebody were looking at a school, either this school or something like it, what advice would you give to them?
Oh, that's a good question. I think being there for your classmates is my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like being a kind person while also having like the strength to be like, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you.
Right.
Because I feel like people like you and I are like, oh, I feel so bad that I can't help this person. Because, like, I have begged so many people to have me on their sets here.
Yeah.
Like, I've been like, please, like, I want to be on this. I'll hold boom, you know? I just want to, like, be with you in this process.
Yeah.
Which I think is the funnest part of film and school and film school. So I would definitely say be kind to your classmates and be open to learning more about how you work as a collaborator and your strengths and your like terrible weaknesses in that category as well. And yeah.
Have you seen anything you've created on the big screen yet?
I have. I shot it like a 48-hour film festival thing once, which was so bizarre. I was like hiding in my entire body, like this is so cool and weird, and oh no, that shot, like
that's my favorite moment, is watching it with an audience. Like once you start getting to the point where you've got a swing of things and you're starting to figure out how to play the audience, because it is a little bit like it's like playing an instrument, like as far as how you edit things together so that you'll get a laugh here, but then it's quiet so they can hear that line, and then they'll get a laugh there. Like you start to kind of learn how to balance that stuff out. And once you do, like, it's great. Like I love, because we did a lot of 48 Hour and 72 Fest back in DC, and I just love that moment where it's like, and it's coming up here.
Yeah,
and
like a little conductor.
Yeah, a little bit of like, there's the laugh here, and it's interesting too, because you'll find the ones that you don't expect, the like unintentional laugh lines that show up, or and you circle that back. You know, it's like, oh, that's interesting, and how could I use that next time? Like what led to that laugh there? Even seeing the same thing with multiple audiences is funny, because they'll respond differently.
Yeah, I just want for a grad to have like 80% of the theater just have one little like. And I'll be fine. Like every like all
little
throughout.
chuckle.
I think.
I think you'll get more than that, because just the couple scenes that I was on set for were ridiculous. And
oh God, Chrissy Hartzell, Mariah Martel, Chris Dritzis, who can make me laugh harder than anyone I know.
Yeah.
Let's see, who was it?
Past guest on the podcast.
Oh yeah, was he? Oh yeah. Evan Mulrooney and Michael Brackney, Haley. I forget her last name, but yeah, they were fantastic, and that was like the coolest thing I have ever done here. Just to like sit back and watch them do their thing and like play. Yeah, it's so weird that that's the time to play when you've rehearsed so much and it's so much. Yeah, that you're just like, let's do this. Like, yeah, let me sit back and watch you do your thing. And then how about do it in a different accent? It was so fun. God, they're so talented.
I may post to the podcast Instagram the series of photos that I took of you while you were watching from behind the monitor. It's great, because it's you watching, and it's just this kind of open mouth, like, wow smile that then there's a laugh line, and you bring up your sweatshirt to your mouth and cover it up, and notice that I'm filming, and you like yell at me. And so it's like the frame by frame that whole interaction.
So
it's so great.
Oh my gosh, there were so many people just like taking photos, and I guess like of course do that, because I know I'll want some to remember this. But on Saturday, our second night, I was directing like a crowd of people and reactions. And I forget who it was, but they just like put their phone up to my face. And I literally was like, don't do that right now. Like it was so much.
You
of
had
just
your
like,
paparazzi moment where you just snapped. You're like, I can't deal with this right now.
And it's like, who's taking photos of me right now? Oh no, I'll have to see those after.
Yep,
I remember that was a funny
I will show them to you. Well, in kind of wrapping up here, so if people want to try and track you down on social media, anything like that, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at @CutTheShitHicks or at Decent Films, films with a Z.
Go ahead and say that one again, and I'll edit it.
At Decent Films with a Z. And Twitter, I think my name's Bridey Hicks.
Bridey, because you're one of two Brideys in the school.
I know, we didn't even talk about that.
How the hell did that happen?
Oh, man. I don't know. I have never met another Bridey in my life, and I feel like it just solidifies that I'm here for like a really cool reason. Mm-hmm. If like 2 out of 50, 60 people in this school are named Bridey. Yeah. Just so weird. I blush still every time I see her. Like my throat closes up. I'm like foaming at the mouth right now. Not angrily, but I'm just like getting really hot thinking about it. I don't know what it is. It's just like, okay. I've just never had this experience. But she's great. She's such a talent, such a hoot. Yeah. Great musician too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool. Well, thank you for coming on. I very much appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Tony.
That was Bridey Hicks. Thank you to Bridey, to the Harold Ramis Film School, and the Second City staff for their help. The music on this week's episode was The Perfect Dance by the Silent Critics. You can find more of their music at silentcriticsmusic.com. This show was recorded and edited by me, Tony Lazzeroni. If you want to hear more from me and my classmates, teachers, and a few special guests, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. If you have questions or comments, send us an email at filmstudentpod@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Instagram at filmstudentpod. And be sure to check out some of my and my classmates' work at filmstudentpod.com, including the trailer for Bridey's film, Everything is Fine. See you all next week. Class dismissed.